Sagittarius, what are you avoiding? Are you avoiding something? Because Spirit had a big question here. What are you avoiding? It feels like whatever it is that you're avoiding is linked to something very impactful and meaningful for you. It feels like some of you, not all of you, and you may be on different parts of this timeline, so place yourself where it feels it resonates for you, whether this is a past energy I'm picking up for you, or a present, or maybe something that you're working through into the future. But it feels like something has finished, there's been a completion, but it almost feels like you're avoiding the new beginning, or the next chapter, or the next step. It feels almost like you're in a standstill, or you're just kind of hovering over the threshold that's in front of you. And I feel like what I'm picking up on today, and if this isn't your message, that's okay. You can check out your other sign placements, or maybe I'm not your reader, you decide. But it feels like this hovering energy, or this standstill, or not crossing the threshold, even though you know there's a completion that has already happened, is linked to some feelings or thoughts that you have about someone else, or maybe even yourself in relation to someone else, or some experience that you've had. There's something unresolved that I feel I'm picking up on here. And it feels like, I don't know if you can tell by my body language here, it feels like a little bit touchy and uncomfortable to talk about. Sagittarius, when you come through in the readings, when I read for your sign, it's always so strong, so deep, and there's such a resilience about you that I love to go to these deep places. And Sagittarius is, I have a lot in Sag, as many of you know, but my South Node is in Sagittarius, so I feel very at home and comfortable with your energy. But this time around, I feel like there's something vulnerable, a little bit fragile that I'm hitting on, but there's a strength in that fragility as well. Let's not get it twisted, right? Your strength will never be dulled or weakened. But I'm going to trust my guides, and I'm going to trust my intuition, and I'm going to go forward with this message that I'm picking up on. I got a lot here, so I'll tell you all about that. But the two cards that I got for the energies supporting you and the energies challenging you are forgiveness for your support and reflection for your challenge. And when I flipped over the deck to put it down, I didn't see what was under synthesis, but is resistance. Know thyself. Okay, so strength. Okay, so we're getting into a whole story here. Yeah, and it does feel like there's a little bit of deja vu in this energy, because I don't know, it's this hovering energy. Like, we've been here for a while. Like, we've been other places too. I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. Did that even do anything? We've been to other places too. You've been to other places as well, but we've still been here in this energy for some time, hovering the threshold. I'm not saying you haven't stepped into a new timeline. You have, but there's multiple things going on energetically. It's not just one threshold, there's multiple thresholds, and this is one that Spirit wants to talk about. And you do know yourself very well, but there's a resistance here to find a synthesis between the energies that support you and the energies that challenge you. So when I turned over the deck and I saw synthesis, I heard right away thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Okay, maybe you're aware of that theory. The Hegelian dialectic is what it's called in philosophy. If you don't know about it, it doesn't really matter. But this is about knowing yourself. It's about understanding how you know what you know and what you believe about yourself and others. And the thesis is you saying, I forgive. How do I say this properly? So there's an energy here that says, what supports me is my ability to forgive others, to move on from things that have happened in my life where I was backstabbed, betrayed. There was a situation that somebody didn't treat me right. My strength, my power, my ability to know thyself, to do magic, I'm hearing, comes through my ability to forgive, the ability and frequency of forgiveness. And that's like your thesis, that's your thought, that's your support. And you're right there. But then the antithesis, which is kind of like the conflict to this idea, is reflection. And to make a long story short here, I don't know, this is all part of the message. Like, it feels like we're going like in we're taking a circuitous route to the message, and that's part of it. But the antithesis for you is reflection. It's almost like I don't need to look within anymore, or I've already looked within, and now I'm just going to concentrate on forgiving those outside of myself. But I feel like there's something here that Spirit wants you to consider when it comes to self-forgiveness. We're going to get further in and see what else pops up. Maybe the message will change a little bit, but let's keep going, because one of the visions that I saw was someone standing in the middle of a frozen lake. And it's like they were stuck in, and they were kind of panicked. They were stuck in the middle of this frozen lake, and there was like ice cracking. It was kind of beautiful looking, but the ice was all cracked out, and they're in the center. And I wrote, like, who is this? It didn't feel like you. It felt like someone else. And I felt like this need to release this energy. And maybe you are releasing this energy, this person, by forgiving them. But I don't know, the reflection part is the tricky part. How can we come to this synthesis, to this resolution between these two opposing energies of complete, and the synthesis is completion. How can we get here? Well, we're already here though, Spirit. We've already completed something, but I feel like we need to know it in a different way than we already do. What's the point of completing a cycle only to hover in the energies before you begin a new one, a new cycle? I feel like this is so dense and wordy and but it's almost like the way that I'm approaching this message is an energy I'm picking up of someone kind of like circling around what they're supposed to do. Circling around in their mind with thoughts, kind of like Eight of Swords energy. Maybe you're overthinking something, or overcomplicating something, over philosophizing something. The reflection is what you're avoiding though. But why? But why? So the first thing I saw was your higher self, or another self, and like maybe another dimensional self or a future self, standing behind you with your hands on your shoulders, like supporting you. And some of you are hearing whispers in your ear. And the other night, was it last night? No, like 2 nights ago, I got a voice come to me, and as I was seeing this vision of someone standing behind you holding your shoulders, it reminded me of this moment that I experienced, and I feel like this message is also for you. But I heard, like, I was falling asleep and I heard the word go. It was just like, go. And then I like woke up and I was like, what? I'm falling asleep. Where do you want me to go? But it felt like Spirit giving me a green light, or a little bit of a nudge, a push to go forward. And I feel like this is also for you, with your higher self like holding your back. Your higher self has your back, saying go cross the threshold. And then I heard, when all is dark and they're afraid, reach out your hand and let me lead the way. We will go to places unseen, and then you will know just what to say. But instead of saying when all is dark and you're afraid, I heard when they're afraid. Reach out your hand. When they're afraid, reach out your hand and let spirit lead the way. So perhaps there's a lot of people around you that are operating in fear. And somehow that is influencing you maybe, or holding you back in some way. Perhaps that's what you need to reflect on. It's interesting. This energy is deep within you. Like the message is a little bit in the shadow, which means you're trying to resolve some conflict here that you're encountering, that you're facing. You're doing some deep level work. It's not easy. You're navigating a little bit of a labyrinth here, an energetic labyrinth with someone else and also with yourself, or like maybe it's a group of people. And then I had the question, where's your energy shield? Because it felt like, I don't know, it feels like you're feeling a little vulnerable. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going and see what happens, Sag. At the very least, I hope this message is interesting to you, if not helpful and resonating. Oh, and then I saw like a quill with an ink pot, and the ink had spilled over. You will know just what to say. Maybe you're trying to communicate something with someone, write something. You have a message. Okay, can we know a little bit about why we're having this reading, Spirit? Why this message is coming through? We have lemon balm. Share some compassion. And Caduceus, your power is rising. Perhaps the conflict here is that you are extending a lot of compassion and forgiveness to others outside yourself, but you really need to show that same level of care to yourself. And perhaps by sharing all this kindness, compassion, wisdom, and like teaching people the energy of forgiveness, or sending out energy of forgiveness to maybe to humanity, or just to people around you or past people, is somehow keeping you from crossing the threshold. Turn inward rather than outward. And try to find out if you're avoiding anything. And if you're like, Andy, I'm not avoiding anything, like I got this, I know what I'm doing, then amazing. Maybe you're in the future from this timeline. This has already happened for you, or maybe this reading isn't yours. But I feel like all of us have something in our shadow that we avoid, which is why it's in the shadow. And it's coming up here in your reading to support you in really, I'm hearing to wear this around your finger, to wear this ring around your finger, a ring of completion. Do you have a certain ring that you infuse with energy? Perhaps you could have a ring of completion of some sort that you wear around your finger. Reach out your hand and let me lead the way. Interesting. All right. I'm also really struck by the number 9 on this card. 9 is a number of completion, but it's also a magic number. It's a disappearing number. There's a whole bunch of cool videos about how 9 is mathematically special. It's different than the rest of the numbers. So if you're interested in that, take a look in that. But it has to do with Tesla's kind of obsession with the 369 frequency. So maybe that's a particular message for someone to look more into the 369 frequency. Oh yeah, but then maybe that's thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. 3, the thesis. 6, the antithesis, and 9, the completion, the synthesis. I don't know what's going on here, but maybe you're doing some kind of like deep philosophical work or something. I feel like the concepts that you should look into are definitely that whole Hegelian dialectic, and then think about how that could apply to your life. And then also forgiveness. What does that really mean for you? And how are you not showing that to yourself at a deeper level? Okay. We have throat chakra, sing your truth. I feel a little bit of this like guarded energy that you have. But it's like you're guarding yourself from yourself in a way. 4 of Cups. Yeah, it's like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want this. I don't want to look at this. How about I just forgive you? Because that's the bigger thing to do. I forgive you and it's over, it's complete, it's done, and we'll move on. But it's not happening because there's something here that you need to look at a deeper level. Something you're pushing away. Okay, can we get to that maybe, Spirit? I mean, I feel like that would help to have that resolution. I don't know. I'm hearing, guys, I'm hearing resolution of individuation. I don't know. I must be talking to some academics here too, because it feels very academic, this reading. So you're very studious, regardless of what it is that you do, that you're curious. You have a curious mind, as Sagittarius does. Okay, what is this that they need to reflect on, that they're perhaps avoiding, Sagittarius, or whoever's here that I'm picking up on, Spirit? What is it that they're avoiding, they need to reflect on? If we could sum it up in just one word. Maybe that's too much to ask. What is this? Okay, I'm being guided to this deck anyway. Spirit's like, you want one word? It's not that easy. Illuminate. Yeah, there's something you need to illuminate to yourself. This reminds me of the Hermit card, which is also the number 9. The disappearing number. Something that has disappeared from your focus, from your attention. Okay, can we find that out? Guide and seek. I feel like Spirit's saying you can't find that for them. They're supposed to find it. Okay. Hearing workbook. Maybe you're doing some like inner work here. 9 of Cups. The World. Yeah, for completion, for forgiveness and completion. Okay. Or perhaps you're seeking forgiveness from someone. Although I feel like it's you extending forgiveness. Okay, well, let's get into the tarot, Spirit. Patience. Okay, maybe the message is going to develop. And let's see what we get. I love you guys so much. Thank you for your patience and for being here and allowing me to work with the energy in the way that I do. Messages like these are a little bit of a mystery to me, a little bit of a challenge as well that I enjoy. And I feel like when messages come through in this way, it gets us to engage more fully with the content of the message, because we're being asked to actively work it through in our own minds rather than just being told what something is. Because I'm hearing no one deserves to tell you what to do. No one deserves to tell you what to do. Interesting. Okay. Let's see, Spirit. The World, completion, again. Oh, we have 2 images of Ouroboros here. Something about a child, perhaps. is coming up here. Or your inner child. What are you avoiding? The Magician for your overall energy. Okay, let me get all the cards out. That flipped over really beautifully. Like it just felt so magic. Okay, let's see what else. I got chills. And I'm feeling like a sensation on my crown chakra here. I feel like this is definitely an activation point for you. Can we get one more about this 10 of Wands, just to give me an idea? Okay. All right. There could be some significance with Aries for some of you. That just caught my eye, Aries message there, which I haven't recorded yet. And I was having a very difficult time with their message, actually. So there could be something about Aries energy that's significant there when you're having a challenge with, perhaps. Okay, so your overall energy is the Magician. And I feel like this circle that you're holding, this disc, is this disc of completion. It's this ring. I'm hearing it's your sight. It's your sight. So what is it that you're doing here in the Magician energy? Realizing your power. Realizing your power. Okay, tell me more about the Magician. 9 of Swords, 3 of Cups, 3 and 9. Here we go, sir. Oh my goodness. I'm hearing you asked for it. I did ask Spirit to allow me to go to a layer deeper, a different level of consciousness here, a collective consciousness in this reading. So here we are. 9 and 3. Do we have any 6s? Yes, we have the 6 of Pentacles over here. Okay. 9 of Swords, 3 of Cups, the Magician. Do you feel supported by others, or do you feel like there's enemies lurking? I bet it's a little bit of the latter for most of you. Or maybe you're trying to extend that forgiveness to those so-called enemies lurking, or just people who don't really have your best interest at heart, shady-ass people. They exist, right? You're trying your best to forgive, those energies and be compassionate, like, it's not about me, it's about them, and that's their way. Okay. But then what's the problem? The reflection, 9 of Swords. There's something you're not seeing, you're not looking at, you're avoiding. We will go to places unseen, and then you will know just what to say. Okay, tell me, and I feel like you're trying to go to these unseen places, maybe in your dreams. Maybe you are getting pushes and activations from Spirit right before you fall asleep, or, in that liminal state before you cross the threshold, over to the dream world, that is saying go, and you're like, go where? If you are having strange experiences before you go to sleep, it's your higher self, so don't fear. Sometimes when we have nightmares or spooky situations as that we perceive to be spooky, they come through like that because they're trying to really get our attention. And if they were pleasant or relaxing or calm, we may just be like, and brush it off and not really remember it. But nightmares bring a certain level of intensity that get us to really remember, look at what it is that our subconscious mind and spirit is saying to us. And a nightmare can have the most beautiful, delicate, loving, kind message embedded in it. Okay, but we have to work through the symbolism and the meaning and all of that stuff to get to that gold. So some of you could be having nightmares about other people or just negative dreams as you perceive it about people around you. Now, I also feel like you do have this feeling that there are others or entities or something to be watchful of, to be mindful of. This is coming to mind, so I'll just share it. I don't know how it fits in with your message, but I've noticed lately that YouTube, like when I go on at night and I'm just like messing around, chilling out, it will push me like content that has a lot of fear-producing ideas or images even right before my bedtime, like right before I go to sleep. Like it'll be a story of like something horrific, you know, and during the day, they don't push me that, like in my algorithm, in my feed. And at night, it's like popping up all the time. And I noticed it on my friend's feed too when I was at their house. So I feel like that's an entity, right? You know, an AI entity, just an energy, or maybe it's like whatever, a collective energy that's coming through. But that feeling of like fear before you go into the dream world, being exposed to the frequency of fear before you go into the dream world is something maybe you need to protect yourself from a little bit more, because it will impact your manifestations, and our subconscious picks up on a lot more than we realize. So if you see something that you feel like will probably impact you in a negative way, then it's best to be mindful of that and avoid it, or make a conscious decision around what it is that you are allowing in there. The Hermit, yeah, the 9 again. 9. So now we have 3 9s. 9 of Swords, completion, and the Hermit. Yeah, so I feel like that's also a larger message. Like, what is it around you that is like introducing fear, and how can you transmute that or eliminate it entirely? I also feel like a lot of you are doing some transmutations for others. I'm not sure if you know this or you realize how much you're doing, and maybe you shouldn't be doing that much. I don't know, maybe you're a healer or whatever profession you have, or this could even be in your partnerships, love and such, where you're actually actively transmuting energies for others, but there's something about that where your subconscious mind is not agreeing that you should be investing your energy in that way. Your power is rising. If you had all the power, whatever that means to you, in the world, in your world, what would you do with it? What would that look like for you? What's on the other side of the threshold? Greatness, abundance. See, because I feel, oh, okay, I get it. Emotions, awareness. Okay, so you know that on the other side of the threshold is your greatness, your abundance on another level. Not that you're not great and abundant now, you are, but it's like on a next level. And there are some emotions you have around this. Maybe you do have a question with, what am I doing with my power that's rising? What am I doing with my magician frequency? What am I creating for myself and for others? There's an awareness that's coming into form about your own power. And I feel like you're about, or like your guides and spirit definitely wants you to go and cross the threshold. But it's almost like maybe you just don't know if it's too much responsibility, or what's going to happen. So you're like hovering. Yeah, I feel like this is a fear that is somehow coming, it's like being embedded in your mind from like some kind of external source. So maybe you're seeing a lot of stuff about like when people get to a certain level of success, they fail, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know, it's implanting that idea in your mind. Avoid that, eliminate that, recognize it for what it is. And maybe also take a little bit of a break from like consciously and actively sending out forgiveness. Not that you shouldn't forgive. I feel like the reason I'm saying this is because you've already spent a lot of time doing that. You've already actively done that. Like you could have even written things down, said the incantations of forgiveness, you know, whatever it is. Like you've done that. So maybe just take a little bit of space from that and focus more on how you want your greatness to manifest. What you don't see coming, Queen of Pentacles, abundance, security, support. I'm hearing support from Gaia, support from Mother Nature, support on the land that you live on. I feel like this is, you know, that image I said I saw in the beginning with you standing behind yourself with the hands on your shoulders. I feel like this is you here, and that, like, well, the pentacle is you, and this is your higher self. You're the pentacle. I feel like what you don't see coming is some kind of confirmation that you've been supported all along. That's so funny. I turned off my notifications, but I have one person who, like, you know, they're allowed to message me whenever. It's cool. Even if I have do not disturb on, this could also be part of your message. And they just texted me LFG, which is let's fucking go. And I just told you that message about go. And I'm talking to you about this pentacle. It's like, let's effing go. Let's go, Sagittarius. Let's open it up. Let's cross the threshold. Now they're, okay. I'm not going to pay attention anymore, but they texted me 3.8. Okay, so I don't know what that's about. Maybe that's a number for you, 3.8. 3.8. We're almost at 3.9. Spirit. Okay, if you have any insights about what this is all about, the number stuff, let me know. Okay, so your opportunity. So what you don't see coming is you're going to get some kind of confirmation that you've been supported all along. I also feel like you're going to uncover and unlock some resource that you had, okay, that you had forgotten about. This could be an actual tangible resource. It could be something within. Your opportunity, the High Priestess. The yin and the yang, the disc at the center. This is what you're creating. This is what you're manifesting. To have the Magician and the High Priestess in the same reading, no wonder we're in this like space that we're in. We also have Death here too. It is a little bit of a shadow space. There are dark energies here that are working with you and for you. And I don't mean dark as in like evil, negative, and all of that. I mean the hidden, the unseen realms. Working with you to bring you to a place in which you are confident to cross this threshold. So your opportunity is to, I'm hearing, invest in yourself and your psychic abilities. To step through to the other side, to cross that threshold. Give me one more here. Tell me more about stepping over this threshold opportunity. Trigger. I knew there was going to be a difficult card that wanted to come out. A disillusion. you're addressing choice. You're addressing some kind of like fear or something that's going on in there. You're choosing express here. You're choosing to deal with something head on, or at least that's what you're being invited to do, to open that doorway in your mind where you've been avoiding something that maybe disillusioned you, or maybe it's a certain trigger you have, or you're understanding what a trigger is for you. You're addressing it head on, and this increases your psychic capacity and ability. Like me recognizing that, hey, when I listen to horrific things at night, even if it's a couple hours before bed, it triggers my subconscious mind in a way that I don't like, in a way that I don't feel is powerful and useful for me, because it feels like I'm not in control of that. So recognizing a trigger point like that for you could be a big awakening. And I feel like you're going to understand why you've been hovering or what's kept you disillusioned once you identify this trigger. But it's triggering your like subconscious is what I want to say. It's not triggering you into like some kind of emotional reaction, or like you're, this is like you wake up the next day and you're like, weird, today feels weird. I feel weird today. I feel disconnected. I feel like blah, blah, you just don't feel like you're on your usual frequency. That's what I'm talking about with the subconscious mind being triggered. Transform. You're going to transmute and transform this. This is going to be a big improvement for you. There's going to be more flow for you and for your mind. Interesting. I feel like this, I'm hearing guardrail. Yeah, it's like you're putting on the guardrail so like you don't fall into this like ditch. But I feel like it's not you that's been steering yourself into the ditch, so to speak. I know that sounds so harsh, but it's what I'm getting. It feels like there's somebody else's energy that you've been allowing, or that you didn't even know you were allowing, kind of take the wheel and like just veer off. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, I see what's happening now. Does that resonate? Yeah, there's a little bit of chaos that an outside energy has been introducing. And this could be the media, could be anything. So the challenge for you, death, it really is to feel and know and embody and integrate that completion that you've already had around something in your life. That's the challenge. One second, let me just look at this card some more. I see. The death card here, she's pointing her finger over at the Ace of Cups, which is your advice. And I feel like Spirit's saying here, part of your challenge is to recognize that the challenge is your advice. Your challenge is the way that you get to the Ace of Cups. It's by addressing something. It's by confronting what you're avoiding. It's by allowing Spirit to take your hand and lead you to unseen places. When all is dark and they're afraid, who is they there? Who is they there? I don't know. When all is dark and they're afraid, reach out your hand and let me lead the way. 3 of Wands. Oh, this could be like those outside trigger energies coming in. When all is dark and other people, like the collective, are afraid and they're propagating their fear, the ship's coming in, the fear coming in, so to speak, you pivot. You reach out your hand to Spirit instead of giving into that fear space and let Spirit lead the way. That makes sense. And then Spirit takes you to unseen places, and then you will know what to say, maybe to these other people who are living in a fear space, or maybe in some other aspect of your life. Okay, so you need to identify energies around you that are afraid, and not only afraid, because fear is, it's okay. We can extend compassion to those people, right? It's okay. There's a time and a place for fear, and, it's warranted in a lot of situations. But when those people or those energies are trying to propagate that fear in your direction, then you reach out your hand to spirit and go in a different way, go in a different direction. This is interesting. And maybe some of those things that have been propagating fear have been asking for your forgiveness even. Okay, so Ace of Cups for your advice. Look at you once you cross that threshold. And there is a version of you that already exists that has crossed the threshold. So just connect to it. That's all you have to do. Just connect to that self that you have, that is on the other side, that is more abundant, that is feeling great. Connect to it with your heart chakra. Open your heart to that version of yourself. There is a new opportunity on the table with the ace here. Let's find out more about this opportunity. King of Wands, the Empress, Eight of Wands, Queen of Wands, Justice. Some of you might have, this isn't going to be for everyone, so don't take it if it doesn't resonate, or like it could be a metaphor about something else. You could have a sibling here. You're going to go on a trip with them, or there's something coming up with a sibling. You're going to have some kind of discussion about your upbringing. It's going to be very healing and helpful. For others of you, you're in a relationship and there's been another force, maybe it's a parental figure who's been taking up a lot of time or attention or wanting you to be around them. There's some kind of justice coming in that situation. If you feel like somebody has been trying to, or somebody has just been interfering in the dynamic of your relationship. What else is here, Spirit? This new opportunity. I'm hearing there's, I did get that before. I'm hearing there's a match made in heaven. And I was getting something about love like way earlier today, Two of Pentacles. But it feels like you're kind of undecided when it comes to talking about love today. That's how I feel. Not that the energy is undecided, but I felt like it wasn't really the time to go there. Seven of Swords, Nine of Cups. Yeah, because I don't know. Maybe it's just not the time. But there is an opportunity here to meet someone who you feel that you get on with. And if you proceed with this, it will move quickly. Just don't compromise your greatness and your abundance. Or your morals and beliefs. Just to move forward with someone. What about work? Is there something here about an opportunity about work? Justice again. Seven of Swords, Two of Swords, and the Page of Swords in reverse. Ooh, you made a snappy, smart decision. I feel like you got yourself out of a work environment or a work decision at some project, something to do with work. You made a decision to do something, okay? And you're avoiding some drama because of it. And you might not even realize it. Page of Swords in reverse. Like something's now going down there and you removed yourself from that whole situation in the nick of time. You made a decision not to stay in a false consciousness, I'm hearing. It could also be that you realized something didn't resonate with you anymore. And it was like deceptive of yourself to stick around in this environment. So you made the choice to leave, not knowing where you would go. But now you're getting some kind of, I'm hearing equanimity. You're getting some kind of Knight of Swords, some information. Yeah, again, that you avoided something by leaving. You made the right decision. You're going to get some kind of confirmation about that. Okay, those are all very specific messages, but they did come through. So I'm going to look and see what's going to come up in the next 3 months for you, Sagittarius, and then I'm going to do an extended. 45 minutes. 9. It's a 9. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to do an extended. In the extended, we go a layer deeper into this message. We see what comes up. Link for that is in the description box below. If you don't feel like coming to that, that's okay. No worries. So we have the 10 of Wands, 4 of Wands, and the 6 of Pentacles. So the 10 of Wands in the next 3 months. This is feeling overburdened. I feel like this is you. Okay, Andy, I'll cross the threshold, but I still have all this weight on my back. But something happens here that turns the energy right around. Somebody gives you maybe an opportunity or gives you some insight. Perhaps this is even spirit. And it's like suddenly you realize that all is well and there's a lot to celebrate. And look, your birthday, you blow out the candles and you graduate. You're another level wiser. You're ready to blow out the candles on this chapter. You're ready for the completion of this year. I'm hearing of this year. So you're entering a new era, a new stage. Something happens that shifts your energy here. King of Cups. What is the shift? King of Pentacles. Knight of Cups, the wise one. I feel like you resolve something, you stop avoiding something, you addressed all of that, and it's like you see all the potentials and possibilities around you. I want a little bit further though. I need a little bit more on this for Sag. No, let's use this one. Let's get a closing message for Sagittarius. Spirit, closing message for Sagittarius. Water, 61. This is a time for cleansing unwanted energy and sticky feelings. Consider this. What water does to the flesh, it does to the sacred ritual, to the spirit. The spiritual cleansing, like baptism, is the opportunity to get an instantaneous experience of the timeless, non-ordinary reality in which all true creation takes place. Now is also a time that is pregnant with potential for you. Carl Jung talked about the maternal, womb-like significance of water as a universal symbol. Water represents the potentiality of existence, and your advice is the Ace of Cups. It precedes and sustains every creation, emergence from its manifestation, immersion in its dissolution of form. Because of this, it symbolizes regeneration. Make way for the process. That's what I feel like this whole reading has been. It's just like we're processing something. It's a process. You can expect it to be messy, yeah, but worth it. Wow, Sag. I love you guys so much. Please share in the comments if you feel like it. It really does help me connect more to you and to the energies and to know how the messages are resonating. It keeps me going. And you also give me a lot of insights on myself and things that I'm working through with your comments. It really helps me too. As I said in one of my posts, this truly is a two-way street. Okay, guys, I love you so much. I'll see you next time.